Hello, this is Everett Pierce on this December 21st, 2016, and it's 5:24 p.m. Arizona time. Now I'm going to pan out, as you can see in the background off the mirror, that I'm just using a phone on a tripod. And we are not using a teleprompter, by the way. Okay, this is duly noted, part 10, B. 10b. Now, as I explained in 10a, about the symbolism surrounding Genesis, surrounding Adam and Eve, and that's just entry level. Just entry level. Now, Eve. We're gonna talk about Eve. Okay, so God is talking, communicating to Adam and Eve. And this was the forbidden tree of knowledge, of good and evil. So if you had a tree over here, that's a tree of knowledge of good and a tree of bad. So tree, the symbolism of tree, fruits that it yields. Okay, as we know with our environment, we have apple trees, we have fruit trees, we have assortment of plants. But see, in this story, we talk about a tree. The tree is rooted, is symbolism. Symbolism. Now, if we just talk about a tree and all the characteristics surrounding a tree, it expands and contracts. Expands, but we're going to focus on expanding that information, the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Not that it's evil and not that it's good. Okay, you're saying, what do you mean, good and evil? That we perceive as good and bad, or favorable or unfavorable. The symbolism of the sword, which goes back way back in the early times of man. So a lot of people are understanding that the pyramids are so many years old. The pyramids were here before man was here. So figure that one out. Okay, so the tree itself, what we know about the tree, it yields fruit. It yields something. It has some kind of, if nothing else, shading. Okay, but this was a tree of good and evil, and there's a snake crawling up it, and there was an apple tree, and she offers the apple to him. That was symbolism, offering him knowledge, insight, a good and evil. Was it a good apple? Was it a bad apple? But a good and evil was symbolism of no matter what you're using, it has the double-bladed sword symbolism to it, meaning that if I apply it correctly, it can be my salvation. If I apply it incorrectly, it can cut my head off, destroy me, hurt me, bring about undue hardship. So good, you can do that the same thing with good things. Okay, so just as a parable, we'll just say, I go and I see this homeless man. What appears to be a homeless man. And I said, okay, and say I hand him $1,000. I said, you know, brother, get yourself an apartment, get yourself a room, rent something. He takes the $1,000. And he goes down to the hawk shop, buys himself a gun, and then runs into a place where he used to work and kills 40-some people. And say, well, damn, I was doing something good. And then it turns out I allowed him something good that turned destructive. And the reason why he was homeless, because a lot of the people that were working there didn't give him a fair chance. And they lied, wrote him up, and everything else like we see in today's businesses, capitalism. And that's why he's on the street. And it's Christmas time. So yeah, he's going to be pissed. Now, is it right that he goes in and kills people? No. But neither was what they did to him to put him in that situation. That's why we tried to make effort to not put people in those kind of situations where now they're going to act. Act out of vengeance, act out of many things, piece of human behavior. And that's what the snake was, symbolism of the devil. Now, was it the real devil? It was symbolism of evil pertaining to human behavior. So, basically, of man, the human race that has chosen this tree, a good and evil, means positive and negative things that can be used to be constructive and destructive. And as the story goes on, and they were shameful of their body, and she covered up her titties, and he covered up his penis and everything else. That's an indication of human behaviors, of people living their life the way they think according to their evolutional thinking and doing. Okay, so let's go into more of Eve. And I mentioned in my other videos as to why some people hold certain values, especially towards reincarnation. As I had mentioned in my part 14, A, B, and C, about the Flint water and why people are so strong about reincarnation doesn't exist. Is people don't want to be reminded of what they have in today's time. If they done and they screwed up, they don't want to be reminded of it. You know, because it horrifies them that they made poor choices and this and that, especially in Flint, making the poor choices and people who have to suffer because of it. Okay, Eve, reincarnation. Yes, I am Albert Einstein, who died in 1955 at the age of 76. I am Abraham Lincoln, the 16th president. And there are many other lives that I have. And I do not need your acceptance to this. I'm not asking you, I'm not trying to convince you as such. It's for the primary purpose of me, so I know where to pick up and where to carry on. Okay, Eve. Is she reincarnated? Absolutely. Do I know her? Absolutely. In today's time, she's 70 years old, the same age as Donald Trump, President Donald Trump. And she's one of my higher ranking generals. Donald Trump is a general. And they're both at the same age. Now, Eve, you know, the knowledge, forbidden tree of knowledge. Okay, Eve. Now, she's 70 years old. She's retired. Well, she has a little side job, but she has this application that links her to everyone in every country, and it's a questionnaire. It's a quiz. It's a type of program or application that people can compete against other people. And it's questionnaires of basically your knowledge. So many of the categories, she's ranking at the top. And there's one which is not one of her strongest aspects. She's the number one woman in that trivia. And she came in number 4 in the world. Of all the nations out there, all the people are competing. And it is pissing off a lot of males. Even though there's a few males above her, but she's the top female. That's why I keep mentioning about untapped resources. You know, men, you know, they kind of giggle and say, you know, because they refer to as tap, mean I'm going to tap that ass. It means I want to have some sex. But that's not what I mean by tapped. Untapped resources, you know, is a woman's skill sets. So she's 70 years old today. She has retired and she picked up a little side job. In her job, she was the highest ranking and yielding individual, even at 70, in her company. By far. The company was requiring that a certain protocols, you know, some protocols, expectation, and they was expecting 20 minimum. She would bring in 5 times that much. She's, mind you, she's 70 years old now. She spins circles around people in her 20s, in their 30s, all ages. She's highly skilled. And what makes this even more interesting, she did, as far as spiritual amnesia, what we remember and of ourselves and what our capabilities are. She's not at her fullest. In some categories, she's ranking 4th in this world among many nations of this questionnaire, trivia. And that's why she's my general. That's why that was in the beginning of Adam and Eve. And like what we see with Donald Trump, bringing in the heavy hitters. Because I knew that the Democrats were going to eventually screw up. You know, they were using the negative side of those tools. Lying, deception, what have you. I mean, there's a whole slew of human behaviors that is in place there. But as soon as they screw up, their legacy is over. I mean, not that we have to get rid of the Democrats, because we represent less than 1% of the life out there. The 2 top dogs of political groups is Democrats and Republicans. In terms of hierarchy, Republicans is 1, Democrats are 2. Because Republicans or Democrats lead with their emotions, with their logic in tow, and the Republicans lead with their logic, with their emotions in tow. But as we know with male and female, you're supposed to be using it together and how to be highly functional. Functionality. So, even in today's time, in this lifetime, I could take her and go up against anyone else out there, just in terms of trivia and question, knowledge. She would smoke your ass. And she's not even at her fullest. She might be operating about 30 to 40% of her ability of, you know, it's what she has established and earned. You know, we have a lot of people out there, they feel entitlement. You know, this is just given to us, as if you don't have to prove yourself. You don't have to develop certain skill sets. Entitlement. She has owned general many times over, and she's highly skilled. Okay, now let's look at Donald Trump. He's in his 70s. I don't care if he's in his hundreds. There's certain standards of my generals and the people of the 7th heaven. Means you, at your worst, have to be far better than their best. Because we fluctuate from day to day. So if your worst is not better than their best, they're screwed. And that's with Facebook. From my understanding, with the owner of that, he would hire the people. He would sleep deprivation and make them drink shots of liquor. You know, all the things that could disrupt them, to see how good they're at with their skill sets of staying focused and completing their task. Where do you think he got that from? Okay, so I don't care if Trump is in his hundreds. That's why in his campaigning, he kept saying about energy, low energy, Jeb Bush, and then energy with Hillary Clinton. Donald Trump would run circles around all of them in terms of energy and just staying on the path and staying focused. Unbelievable. And he's a general. These are certain characteristics that is expected of certain generals to stay on top of things, because when things get out of control, then extinction wins. Especially if it gets rolling downhill as a snowball. As we know in terms of analogy, we hold these truths to be self-evident. If that snowball gets big enough and it's get enough momentum going downhill, how do you stop something like that? It's like trying to stop the sun. And that's, we have to give credit to Democrats. And we have to understand them, and where credit and credit is due. You know, for 1 million resets, the Democrats have handed our ass to us. Okay? We're humble. We've been patient. But we knew that they're going to eventually become complacent. They're going to push it too far and flip it. And this was told to them even back in 1865 and before. We explained everything in terms of the emotion and the logic and how to use it and everything, and they were insisting they're going to do it their way. Well, here we are, 2016, even after 1 million resets, and every reset is 4 billion years. And they did exactly what I told what would happen. Now, their legacy is over. They've given every opportunity to prove their theory of their way of doing things. Now that we are in this, now it's time for the Republicans and the third element, Trinity, to put in place to show you how we take care of our business. And it'll be in such a way, and comparison using contrast, is if you're lucky for the Democrats, you may get in the office in 300 years. And if you flip that coin one more time, it's like we teach our children to be good sportsmanship. And then you show poor sportsmanship. Foul, saving face, everything else. And then you wonder why our children don't take you seriously. Look at you being pathetic. You know, you have to practice what you preach. Otherwise, you start losing the merit and credibility. So, in terms of Trump, I wouldn't care if he's in his hundreds. I just know that him at his best is far better than anyone else that's not part of my energy partners. He's going to smoke your ass. And he's going to put it in a way that there's no hard feelings. This is how it is. It's going to be rock solid, and you won't be able to refute it. And once this is in place, okay, so you figure Democrats caused 1 million resets. Democrats, the third element, Trinity. It is not billion, but into the trillions of resets before a Republican, and definitely a third element like me, before you will catch us with our pants down, per se. We still have that element of 90-10. There's still that exception to the laws of energy. And that's why you should always take into account to the exception to the laws of energy. Be humble. Because God, energy, as I will show you what humbleness is all about. And you will hate it to no end. It'll be like putting cow shit in your mouth. The worst taste, you'll never forget it put away. And I ain't trying to be gross. I'm just trying to be effective in my teaching. So, Trump, he's not waiting a bit. He's going to old school, going back to the states that made this possible. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And since Hillary flipped that coin of overdoing it, everyone woken up. It's kind of like amnesia. And one day people were, oh shit, what the hell are we doing? And everyone started getting on that Trump train. And that's what's happening here. Democrats' legacy is over, and there's no hard feelings. But we still we can't push you down where you're so pathetic that you end up crawling underneath that rock, and now you're no longer good to us because you're too shameful to get out. You're too shameful. You have to identify your skill sets, develop them. You already know how to dig down, be a coal miner of negative things. Be the best number two that you can be. Let's build a skyscraper. That's the symbolism there. If you look at Donald Trump's Trump Tower, 721, read it this way. 1, 2, 7, 12, 7. That's my birthday, 12/7, December 7th, Pearl Harbor Day. Everything is symbolism. But symbolism itself can expand to the size of a book. This little symbol, like E equals MC squared. So that's why we're seeing, that's why it was, he's putting all the generals, he's putting on this, is the Democrats are coming to the realization that once Trump has everything into place, putting that contrast, their nonsense will not be a hidden thing like a person's intent, trying to prove a person's intent. How do you prove something that you cannot see? You cannot register. You can't. It brings contrast to our government. It puts a contrast to everything. And so their nonsense essentially is exposed. So now they are forced to rethink, which I have been telling them all along, but because of democracy, choices, fairness, it's like someone desecrating the flag. I may not like it. I freaking hate it. That's my design, by the way. I have to allow you to do that. Freedom of expression. But as soon as you cross that fence, now you're going over, you're stabbing this guy, you lit this business on fire, criminal activity, and then you burn the flag. I'm going to hold you on the same principle of a terrorist. Because they're totally different. Protesting and rioting are two different things. Polarity, male and female. When you see a vagina and you see a penis, it's quite obvious. We hold these truths to be self-evident. There's a little bit of a difference there. Now you got to figure out, why do we have this difference? And thank God that people can figure it out. But that's why we're talking about Genesis, Adam and Eve. Okay, if you think Adam and Eve, the name, Adam is 4 letters, Eve is 3 letters. But if you look at the first 3 letters of Adam, it's A-D-A, and then Eve, A-E-V-E. It's a balance, an element of balance. So if you had to show something in terms of balance, say if I'm going to use a 1 and a 2, you go 1, 2, 1. Or you go 2, 1, 2. In terms of balance, you have to convey an element of balance. Okay, if it was on a scale and one was in the middle, you put 2 ounces here and 2 ounces there. The element of balance. Man, it says man was perfect. In the world, his flesh was perfect. Means the design of man, the human race, is superior. Everyone out there, I don't care what skin tone you are, how high or fat or whatever, good looking, ugly, intelligence, we are identified by our bones. Oh, that's right. Eve was made by Adam's rib. 12. We usually have 12 ribs, 12 thoracics. And then neck, cervical vertebrae. 12, 7. The Trump Tower, 721. 1, 2, 7. It's like the chicken concept. If it looks like a chicken, it sounds like a chicken, it walks like a chicken, it tastes like a chicken, a chicken, a chicken, a chicken, a chicken, a chicken. Makes me hungry just talking about it. Because there's just some things that people like to insist. You just got lucky. No, there's no luckiness around me. There's no luckiness in the 7th heaven. And that's what we're trying to teach you. Let's learn and let's do it the right way so you don't have to do an evolutionary reset of 4 billion years. Look at what you have accomplished in the last couple of years. Can you imagine where we're going to be at in the next 4 billion years? If I hadn't intervened in my previous lives, pushing things forward, you'd still be a caveman, literally. Carving out your stone wheel. People won't use their objective and creative mind. You'd be stuck in the self-preservation, survival, like animals out there. And then these people put down animals. From what I can see, overall, if I had to make an assessment, they are more civilized than people are. Pound for pound. That's hideous. And the animals are here because they are the best of their evolution. So you think of the lottery and the combinations possibly in exact order. We are considered superior. As long as, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. as long as working together in that nice, awesome system, then those symbols bring about superiority. Just like everyone out there trying to fight each other. Oh, I'm black, I'm white. And I saw this video that would say, white or blue lives matter. I'm glad you went there. Because he says, well, there's no blue-skinned people. Exactly. There's no black man. There's no white man. Even the Indians, use that term. White men come and kill our village. The white is symbolism. But we are all 50 million shades of brown. That's all that we can prove in any court of law. No matter how dark you are, it's an element of brown. From dust we come, from dust we return. That's also spoken in Genesis, Adam and Eve. Well, the last time I look in terms of dirt, not rock, but dirt. And there's different shades of brown. It can be real dark brown. Okay, and what is the reference of white and black? In the true sense of it. Well, I wouldn't say don't look up the sun, but that the sun would be representation of white. Pull up white. What is representation of black? Like a black hole. And you say, well, they're hard to see. Well, yeah, because true sense of black does not emit light. And what's the reverse of that? Something emits a lot of light. So I'm glad they went there because there's no such thing as black and white. So beyond that, it's in reference, trying to put descriptive and clarifications to help the other person understand in a better sense of it, of what's going on. But people have taken it seriously. I'm a black man. I'm a white man. No, you're not. You're the superior human race. And because the stupidity and the ignorant things that people do, it's like you're making every effort to not be superior. It's like you have something against being superior. Because if you have to accept it, that means you have to get off your ass and develop yourself and partake as a unit, like all the pieces to a car motor, and do something and be part of something great. And a lot of people think, oh, this, they come here, this is heaven. They talk about the 144,000 reign in heaven. Here you are. And people think, and this is how it's taught, that I'm going to go to heaven and God's going to be my butler. Well, that sounds like someone is a slave master. Sounds like that is a slave. I'm going to go to heaven and he's going to cater to me and he's going to, some motisa. No, God would say, wake up, boy. The tea's in there. Get you off your ass and get it yourself. Be functional. Be part of a tool. Okay. So that's why we talk about this. I'm not a scholar of this. I'm just, they say that this is the tip of the iceberg. Well, let's just say what I'm illustrating to you is the tip of a tip of an iceberg. Can you imagine we get forward? We're the furthest along that we've ever done in 1 million resets. An A+++. We have to go 6 plus signs. Then we enter level 2 leadership. No life. None. This is not the only life. This here represents less than 1% of the life out there. No life out there with all the diversity have come together in a functional tool to get past, and then one day on level 2 of leadership. So like first grade, and say, yeah, I passed first grade. No, it's not complete until you have one day on the second grade. Now you started on. 2021, in one day, January the 2nd, 2021, and then we have officially or in level 2 of leadership. So why would leaders like Jesus and Muhammad and every other prophet come here to teach you? They're not teaching you to be sheep. They're not teaching you. And you think about what they are teaching. in the true sense and get past all the diversion and changing and lying, deception, and counterfeiting. Jesus is teaching you how to be a leader. Because you, at some point in your life, at least 3 times, wanted to be a leader. You know how we talk to God, oh God, please help me, give me the courage. You did it 3 times. You chose the tree of good and evil, which was the right choice, by the way. Like, you can't have electricity without positive and negative ions. You have to have both elements. You have to understand energy. You got to understand it can be your salvation. It can also be your destruction. So that's why we talk about it. And then Eve, just about Eve. Okay, so we got the name Adam is 4. Eve is 3 letters. 4 minus 3 is 1. Well, what we know of pi, if you're going to have any 3 numbers that represents pi, you have to have the 3, the 1, and the 4. Okay, but if we're like the dollar bill, if you notice the eagle's facing that way, because I'm southpaw. Staring on the $1 bill, staring at the pyramid. So I have also made postings on that as well. So the Democrats or any party out there, all you're doing at this time is you're showing poor sportsmanship. Now, if you're a Democrat who isn't, I've seen a few out there, and I was quite impressed with the few that I did see. And then I'm thinking to myself, that is the Democrat that I know of. Where did this other shit come from? And you say, you called me shit. No, what I'm seeing in your behavior and the actions and the methods that you're taking to accomplish what you feel and believe is correct. That is what's shit. You're here because you're freaking awesome. You're deemed as superior as long as you are working together like our number system. Keep developing and try to be the best 2. And then the Democrat or the Republicans will be the best 1. But what has happened over many lifetimes and many resets is the Democrats are going, oh, I want to be a 1. Why not me? Humbleness. You say, you know, I can't sing a lick. You know, I try, I will sing, but I'm okay with that. Okay, I have a good talking voice. Well, my voice is a little hoarse right now, but I have a talking voice. But what's the benefit to that of not being able to have a Josh Groban voice is when I'm watching Voice, American Idol, you know, ones that, okay, they hit the golden button. It takes me maybe a couple seconds to know that is a golden button person. I'll be sitting there and I say, that's a golden button. And then it's like, and it seems like the people, you know, no offense to any of them, it's like they're moving slow. Oh my God, these sing good. And then they finally go over and hit the golden button. And it's like, what the fuck is taking you so long? I mean, you got to think about certain things. I may not sing a lick. You know, it's like I couldn't carry a note if I had a barrel. I'm okay with that. Okay? That's why we have to come in grips of being okay with ourselves. Because when you get reincarnated, I might be in a body that I have a Josh Groban voice. So, in this lifetime, my voice sucks as a singer. We're in the 7th heaven. My voice is unlike anything you've ever seen and heard. I will grip the whole essence of you. Like I'm holding you up in my hand, like a little baby Jesus. And you'll just feel, But when I'm not on the 7th heaven, I'm on the 6th heaven, trying to help you out. So, Eve would smoke your ass. She will spin circles around you. And that's my general, a female general. Why? Because some of the stuff that she remembers, I may find she knows me. So in the event we're in something she sees and understands that is high priority importance to let me know. And say, like, for example, she'll say, Everett, the there's a fire pit over there, up ahead, and you got these big flames, and it's wide, and it's too wide for any of us to jump across. I said, oh, yeah, great. Hey, Michael Jordan. I know Jordan. See, chess player. You got to know your pieces. Jordan, I handed him this rope. I said, Jordan, you're the only one I know of our group that can easily jump that shit. But you're going to have to jump through some fucking fire. And it could kill you. Here's a rope. All we need is when you jump up there, throw it on top of that, get down and tie it to the other side of the tree so that when we come across it, we can swing across it. And Jordan said, no problem, sir. Yes, sir. Hang time. You know, and that's, you know, Michael Jordan. And you say, well, yeah, he's a seventh heaven spirit. And that's and you think he's awesome here. Wait till his spiritual amnesia is totally gone. And you're looking through a glass plane and you're looking at the seventh heaven. If you think he's awesome here, you're going to say, holy shit, there. You know, it's this type of mindset of what and how you want to accomplish things. I kid you not. You think, oh, he's slamming the dong in hang time. No. He'll jump up and he'll put it down on his feet and slam it in with his foot. And you might be laughing about it, but this is no joke. So these are the type of people who say, well, you have to have enough samples of people here to give you hope, true hope, and faith of what you can develop into. What are your skill sets? What can you develop into? Okay, now on the seventh heaven, we have people even better than Michael Jordan. But everyone is of equal value. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal. Absolutely. And then a true chess master understands all his pieces. So if we're in war, and I say, oh shit, we got to jump across this pit. There's hydrochloric acid there. No one can jump that far. And you say, wait a minute, Michael Jordan does. Not only he does, he will seem like he will jump 10 feet past. Put that rope over that tree, tie it up, and we're swinging over. We never miss a beat. So if you think Michael Jordan is awesome in the game of basketball, wait till you get to see him and experience him on the seventh heaven. You know, that's why we can't let skin tone. You acknowledge we are the human race, and we all got to work together. You know, it's like you can take a horse to the water, but you can't make him drink. You know, people have to live and experience it. That's part of the evolutional process. But there's also a point I call the 7-pound foot, which brings about football. Is not the big linebacker that attacks. He can run down. He knows what he can do. But it's that 7-pound foot that will trip him before he gets into the end zone. And I've seen with Michael Jordan. He gets up at hang time, and of course you got these other, you know, they're almost like superheroes. He's up there like that, and the other guy, he says, okay, he had the last few games, takes the ball from him. Jordan, and I know Jordan, he's going to say, okay, next time I'm going to go up, I'm going to make it like this, and I'm going to throw it down behind my back, and bang, because he's expecting me over here. Now I got to start being inconsistent. So he doesn't know where to put his freaking hands. And Jordan gets up there, bam. So just as an example, as a teaching purpose. Yeah. If you think Jordan is awesome here. So, but getting back to Eve. E-V-E. Okay. The fifth letter. V is the 22nd letter. And then another E. 22, that's 32. If you take E equals MC squared, E is the fifth letter, equals look like 11. M is the 13th letter. C is the third letter. Add them up. 32. So Adam. A-D. 1, 4. 1. 1, 4, 1. And our hands. 4 in one direction, 1 in another direction. So 141, M is the 13th letter. 1, 4, 1, 1, 3. Well, if you take out the repeating numbers of that, you have a 1, a 4, and a 3. The 3 numbers that you need to represent pi. God forbid someone looks at that using symbolism, using the, like I said, as Einstein, Albert Einstein, use your objective and creative mind, expand, creativity. So that's why we talk about things like this. This is a tip off iceberg. So if that doesn't put fire in your ass and stop believing this illusional bullshit that people have been led to believe, like we with the college in California, teachers are conditioning, recruiting people to be Democrats. Because years ago, they want to make sure that when I come back in life, they can't stop me. So they come up with better ways to stop me. Because everyone believes that reincarnation doesn't happen. And I come and I say, I'm Abraham Lincoln. I'm Albert Einstein. Then no one will believe me. They won't take me serious. In fact, they'll think I'm crazy and put a straitjacket on me. So they've come up with many ingenious. It is genius. You can't take their credit away. But see, I also know their weakness, which they would not listen to me. And that's why they're in the position they are in 2016. We're going to ride this son of a bitch into the end zone. Donald Trump and everyone else. So if you're not on Trump train, you're going to look like a freaking idiot. Either you are part of history or you be history. Be history means you just sat around, like I said, as Albert Einstein. The ones that is more concerning is ones, there's a crime being committed, and those that walked right by and did nothing. So whether you're on the Trump train or the Hillary train or whatever train, get on that freaking train and let's ride this son of a bitch 4 billion years in the future to level 2, which has never, ever been accomplished since energy became MC. So we can go on and on and on and on about this Genesis, part 10b. And it's not being, you say, well, you act like you know it all, you're superior. I am superior, as long as you're with me. You know, it's like going to a caveman, and I throw my phone. If we can't communicate, say this cave woman, and we can't establish communication, making that evolutionary bridge, we're not going to procreate. If we're not going to procreate, we're going to extinction. That's how I feel when I talk to people out there. I feel like I'm talking to a fucking caveman or woman, pardon the expression. Let's take that crap out. Let's figure out our hierarchy, our placement, our skill sets, and let's start functioning together. It's like taking all these pieces and put them together, and you say, oh wow, that's a Ferrari motor. Vroom, vroom, vroom. But right now, that freaking engine won't even start. So now you got to bring in the heavy hitters, like me, Donald Trump, Eve, Moses. They're all here. You can bet your ass on it. Some of these people are my energy partners. Means God himself have assigned them to me. And some of them are